On today's episode, we talk about what Seattle's 6-2 loss to Utah last night means for their playoff hopes. Spoiler alert, it's not good.
You are Locked On Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, I'm Zane Begg, and I'm with Davey Jones Locker Room. We're with coverage of the Seattle Torrent and the Seattle Kraken, and welcome to Locked On Kraken. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Today, we're going to talk about some hope for the Kraken. That's not going to be all bleak, but there is going to be some gloom and or doom, actually a fair bit of it, because the Kraken are on life support after losing to Utah. Also, the out-of-town scoreboard did not break Seattle's way. San Jose won, Los Angeles and Nashville, that game went to overtime, and Nashville won. It's been a tough scene, and the Kraken now are in real danger of being eliminated mathematically from the playoffs. They have still 75 points. Let's take a look at the standings. 75 points, and they need to catch now San Jose in the 8th spot at 79 points, but they need to leapfrog the Jets and the Kings and the Predators and the Sharks. It's going to be tough with 75 points, and there are only 8 games left to play. The playoff cut line has now, even getting to 90 points is a little less certain because of the way that the other games have broken. So if they get to 91 points, if they win every single game, then they're in for sure. If they go 7-0-1, there's a pretty good chance. But if they go 7-1, it's a coin flip. Like, think about that. The Kraken, they win 7 of their next 8 games. They're still only a coin flip to get in, 57%. A little better than a coin flip, but 7-1 might miss. You remember, there was a Mariners season a few years ago where it was like if they'd won and if they won the 3 games to go, and they had not ended the playoff drought, and then it was like, well, if the Mariners win, they win these games, then they should get in. It turned out that the other games broke in such a way that the Mariners had won, they wouldn't have gotten in the playoffs anyway. This is right after Ted Lasso became popular, because I remember we had the Believe signs. So this feels pre-pandemic-y. I could be wrong. Anyway, the point being is that the Kraken have not a lot of playoff equity left. In fact, they're currently now at 1.5% by my model, and if they beat Chicago tomorrow, that only goes up to 2.2%. They lose, it's 0.3%. And the reason is that they're out of room. They've run out of room, and they've run out of runway, as we're going to hear Lane Lambert refer to coming up later in the show. It started out good. Kraken started out playing really well. It started out 2-0, and Utah's defense, not great. Utah's a vulnerable team, and they just honored Adam Larson with his 1,000th career game, and they had a really nice video tribute, and they had all these people give their well wishes. Vince Dunn, Hillary Knight, Ron Francis, Leon Draisaitl, which that one probably surprised me the most. Andre Burakovsky. Yeah, but Leon Draisaitl said, "Hey, this guy's one of my best friends," and it was really sweet. Also, they had a ceremony at Center Ice, and they gave Adam Larson a silver stick for the 1,000 game, but then they also gave his daughter a little mini silver stick, and it was just like I don't know. I mean, she's a toddler. She's like 2 years old or 3 years old. I mean, just looked like a small child, and it was and like there was this like audible like "aw" from the crowd. It was really really cute. It was really sweet, and they had a painting, and also then they're like, and also Adam Larson and his family gets tickets to destination wherever Alaska Airlines travels, and so they worked in a little bit of promotion into the ceremony, which I guess I'm not cynical enough to be annoyed by that. I just thought it was amusing. So the vibes started out great, and now they're up, the Kraken, they go up, and Adam Larson, he doesn't score, but he does get the shot that creates the rebound that Jordan Eberle then punches in only 41 seconds into the game. And so we are like, oh yeah, this is great. Larson just got the primary assist on a Jordan Eberle goal, and we're less than a minute of the game, and the Kraken are up 1-0. And then Bobby McMahon, the greatest player in NHL history, continues to do greatest players in NHL history things, using his speed, getting out to the front of the net. And then the dots on the video here do not do it justice, but it was a spinning backhand for the 2-goal lead. It's just a spectacular play, and it is just everyone's rolling. The lines are rolling. The Kraken are rolling. The organist, Benny Drawbars, who, by the way, I really legitimately believe is the best organist in the NHL. He always brings such creative choices. You don't hear the same song twice in a season, typically, like ever. There are often little musical Easter eggs or references to what's happening in the game or the context of the game. I really like when the Kraken are, like, one of the games they were wearing their Abyss uniforms. They were, the black ones, and then Benny's playing AC/DC's Back in Black as they take the ice. It's stuff like that. Anyway, even the organ was like a little juiced. Like the volume on the organ was higher than usual, and everybody was just having a good time. Everyone just had a little extra energy. And then the rest of the game happened. Now, the Kraken thought that they had taken a 3-1 lead, and it won on a Jacob Melanson goal on a great celly. But it was ruled. Initially, they looked at it and they said, nah, it's not goaltender interference. And then Utah challenged, and they said, okay. And they looked at it, and they said it was goaltender interference. It seemed pretty marginal, especially because then later in the game, Utah scores a goal, and it was like, seemed pretty blatant. I mean, it was like they ran into Joey, and he was not able to make the save because of the contact, in my opinion. And this much less marginal contact was ruled not goaltender interference. This reminds me of something that Jared McCann said back in the Dallas playoff series in 23, when there was a goaltender interference call that did not go Seattle's way. Jared, what do you think about that?
I have no idea what the hell goalie interference is anymore. I really don't.
Well said. Well, coming up next, we're going to hear from a pretty frustrated Jordan Eberle and Lane Lambert, who realize, I think, that their time is now running out. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill is still sitting open when the pressure's on and you need the right hire. This is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for: skills, experience, and location. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. Here's a stat that says it all. In the time I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. Spend less time searching and more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with less time, less stress, and more results. When you need the right person to cut through the chaos, this is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. Listeners of the show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed sponsored jobs. You've done rooftops and you've chased every happy hour, but how about one that's literally above it all? After 4 p.m., the Space Needles Pint and a Pie takes happy hour sky high, and just for $35 per person, you get entry, your choice of a sweet or savory tip-top pie, and a pint of beer, wine, or a non-alcoholic drink. Whether you're pre-gaming for the Kraken, warming up for Climate Pledge, or just here for the views, this is your night on another level. Pint and a Pie. Limited time offer, 21 plus only, minimum to purchase. Tickets at spaceneedle.com. Don't forget to check out the Everydayer Club for ad-free episodes and access to a group chat with other listeners of the show. Tap the link in the show notes or go to lockedonpodcast.com/everydayer. Well, the mood was not great after the game, and it was, when I get to the scrum and I'm in the back of the scrum, there are some players, most players, you can still hear what they're saying. But when Jordan Eberle is not having a good day, he gets real, real quiet. And I could not get close enough to hear what he had to say in person, so I had to wait to get the video. But he was real blunt. He was real honest, and also real disappointed.
Started well. They pushed. They got a couple more. I think, obviously special teams. We had an opportunity in the power play to get one, and we didn't. And they capitalized on their power play. And then third period, we're still in the game, and we give up two. We're out of it. It's disappointing. This point in the season where we're at, it's frustrating. I think you're trying to fight for your lives and you're getting beat and you're getting run out of your own rink. It's just disappointing.
What is your take on what's been going on with special teams lately? I mean, it seems to be struggle on both sides of the funnel.
Yeah, I mean, power play, we obviously, I don't know what we talked about it today, 11-2 for, 30 second in the league, and after the break, it's just not good enough. I mean, we've had chances, we can say that at the end of the day, we have to find a way to be, a catalyst in the game and score goals so that we can have our, have a chance to win hockey games. It's that simple. We're not doing that. So, that's on me. That's on the rest of the power play guys, and we have to find a way to do it here.
Tonight, I mean, there's so many chances, it seems like, where you have, open nets, robbery by the goalie, things like that. Like, you just can't buy a goal, and also there's just some bad breaks, too, with things getting waved off. I mean, moving forward, how do you avoid having that sink your progress, your effort in the game? Yeah, I mean, we score a big goal to make it 3-1. It gets called back. I mean, it's hockey. It's, you're going to have adversity. It doesn't matter. There's no such thing as a perfect season. You can ask any team. Colorado, look at them. They started hot and they went through a little bit of adversity. It's just how the game works, and you're going to have adversity within matches as well. I think, you have to find a way to just be confident, stick with it. We're a mature team. We have a lot of guys who've been through this, and when things don't go your way, you have to find a way to get into it.
Jordan, what's your message to the guys this late in the season and seeing points slip away like this?
No, it's just, we just talked about it, to have an effort in the third period like that, and it's frustrating. We have to figure this out. It's just that simple. We're running out of time. At this point, it's put your head down and work, and worry about the next game as hard as that is, and you have to try and switch your mindset. But at the end of the day, this is just unacceptable right now. We have to figure this out.
Of note, also, there are 2 double minor penalties for high sticking taken by the Kraken players last night. Also, the Kraken they only killed 3 of the 6 penalties that they faced. Since the Olympic break, Seattle is dead last in power play percentage, and after last night's 3 for 6 performance on the penalty kill, are 18th on the penalty kill. Overall, their expected goals share since the Olympic break is 26th 5-on-5 and 28th at all strengths. So the Olympic break, post Olympic break, has not been kind to the Kraken, and the record has reflected that. Lane Lambert pretty frustrated as well about the penalties and also the special teams.
Blaine, you've talked in the past about how when a team has, when you have a 2-goal lead, a lot of times other teams will change the way that they play. They get on their toes a lot. Does your team, do you think, change the way that they play as well when they get up by 2 goals? It's been a little bit of a challenge lately holding on to those leads.
Yeah, I think I don't think we change the way we play. I think you do, and for whatever reason, lately we do things that let other teams back into the game. And, an ill-advised pass into the middle, we take a penalty, and now all of a sudden, they score on the power play. So they're back in the game. We end up scoring a goal and gets disallowed. They tie it. And I think that, we had some chances. We certainly had some chances. Bobby McMahon, we had a good push when the score was 2-2. And we just, for whatever reason, couldn't find the back of the net, hit the goalpost, a couple of things like that. But, we certainly do find ways to, I guess, beat ourselves at times. The special teams were poor tonight. The power play was not good. The penalty kill gave up 3 goals for the first time in I don't know how long. 2 4-minute minor penalties for high sticking. You can't come through those types of careless plays with your stick. It's very, very difficult you can't give a team like that, the amount of power plays that they had and expect to hold them off the board. So, right now we're hurting ourselves, and, the runway's running out, and we've got to play better on Saturday. Again, to your point, we had a huge power play, to get right back into the game. And we failed on it, and we did the same thing in Edmonton at the end of the second period as well. So those are the key moments from that standpoint. And then, you can say what you want to say. I think there's some saves that we needed tonight, and we didn't get them.
Lane, you just mentioned the runways running now. What is your message to the guys after a game like tonight, where it had a pretty significant importance in your playoff hopes?
I think they took ownership of that and had a meeting themselves. There was nothing. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Couple of pretty interesting comments there. A little bit of maybe holding Joey Cord accountable for not having the best performance. I don't think Joey was necessarily the problem, but yeah, he's right. I mean, there are a couple of goals you probably would have liked to have back. Overall, it's just, I think the Kraken not generating enough offense. Also interesting that the players had a players-only meeting. I went to practice today, which is not something I usually do because it's really hard where I live. It's my whole day. It's also why this episode is posting late, because when I attend practice, I don't get home until much later because I have to wade through the ocean of traffic getting back home down 405, which if you don't live in Seattle is not a pleasant experience if you are a fan of actually moving at any reasonable speed in a car. If you're a fan of just sitting still on a parking lot, and they call that parking lot highway, then by all means. But we're going to talk about how the Kraken don't today seem demoralized and that they understand that while things don't look good, I think maybe there's a little bit of reason for optimism. So let's find that little flicker of hope coming up next. The tournament is here. One of the best times of the year. Buzzers, bracket beaters. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets. It's nonstop action from tip to final cutdown. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. Here's the best part. You get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament, and you can mix it up however you want with game picks, futures, or even same-game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new. Different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action. Thank you for making Locked On Kraken part of your daily listening routine. It really does mean a lot. And as we try to build the show into something great, because we're going to build something great and we're going to do it together between you and me, and we're going to have a good time doing it. The Kraken are having a better time than you might think. So I did go all the way out to KCI to practice. Couple reasons. First is I just needed to take care of some administrative business. Let's say I was approaching a player about a future thing, and so we'll be doing something in the future about that, and I'm really excited about it, but can't talk about it yet. But you're really gonna really like this, I think. And the second is I wanted to see what the mood was. I wanted to see what it was because it was so somber. And Lane Lambert is someone who strikes me as someone who has a little bit of a magic touch, at least right now, with the players, because the players do seem to really like him. They do seem to respect him. And Lane Lambert really seems to care a lot. He has consistently shown a lot of passion. And I think there's a passion for details in the way that he approaches hockey, and that he really enjoys the process of teaching the little things. And the players who I don't think we're getting that kind of level of coaching last year under Dan Bilesma really appreciate it. And is a big reason why players over and over again, they talk about Lane Lambert's attention to detail. They talk about how he keeps them prepared, how they are equipped to deal with whatever situations are thrown at them. Now, the talent level, there's only so much you can do. You don't have the talent to get to the front of the net, and you don't have the shooting talent. You don't have the offensive creativity. You don't have a lot of the things that the Kraken are lacking offensively. But Lane Lambert, he's making the best of the situation he has. And today, he had a lot more optimistic tone, I would say.
What are some more levers that you kind of have left to pull there? Is it personnel? Is it change?
Yeah, change the personnel. Mm-hmm. Yeah, change the personnel up completely and see where that takes us. That's more or less. I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about putting more pucks to the net, but right now, we've been very good on entries all year long. We're really high in the league in terms of our entry rate, but right now, the last couple of games, and certainly last night, our first unit had trouble entering the zone. So we've just got to be better in that area.
Mood seems pretty light on the ice today, considering how things have been going. Is that encouraging for you to see the guys having a pretty good time up there?
Well, it was important for us to get on the ice as a group. Reality is what it is, but what is your perception of reality? We're 4 points out of the playoffs. Clearly, if we had won 7 of our last 8 games and we're in the exact same position as we are right now, there would be a different mood. But we'd be in the exact same position we are now. So it's our mental mindset and our perception. And, move forward. Past is past. We have an opportunity moving forward here. That's all we can think about. And that's all the players were thinking about today. So we had to get them out on the ice together. I thought it was a good day for them. Yeah, it's exactly how you perceive the situation. And if you perceive it as a negative, it's a negative. If you perceive it as a positive and an opportunity, we can have an opportunity. Things change fast in this game. I've been there. I've seen it. It's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. So we have to have the right mindset going forward. And all we can do is take it one game at a time, and that starts with Chicago tomorrow night. A lot of times this league is a race to 3. And, the team that can get there, and as long as you're defending well, has a really good chance of winning the hockey game. And so to answer your question, I think the opportunities have been there for us. We've got to bury them and put them in the back of the net, which we talk about and we've been talking about here for the last couple of weeks.
How's Shane doing?
He was out there today in a red jersey, and we'll see how he is later on today.
And Tolvanen playing on the fourth line, is that just a numbers thing, or is there something you want him to do better?
No, it's a numbers thing. In terms of that line, that should be and can be a responsible line for us, for sure. We had Mulgard up in the middle hole and on the third line, and then, Freddie was down there and Tolvey was with him, on the road trip. So, you have to have a responsible fourth line for sure. Does that mean that Tolvey's going to be on the fourth line tomorrow? Not necessarily.
What have your takeaways been about Oscar in his time here and the opportunities he's got here, especially late in the season?
Yeah, no, he's. I like Oscar. I like what he's going to bring to the organization, and I like what he's bringing to our team right now. He's bringing an element of speed. He's smart. There's things that, again, at this level, and he's played at high levels, but at this level, at this time of the year, there's things that he's learning too, and he's a smart player, and he will learn. I have no questions about that. I have a lot of time for Oscar Mulgard.
You can yell and stomp your feet and be mad, and that might work for a while, and you feel good or you feel less bad. But at some point, you have to move forward, and you have to say, okay, what do we need to do now? And the only way that you can move forward and the only way that you can do things and be successful and try to make that comeback and try to come back from being 1.5% or 1% or 2%, whatever the very small playoff odds are. Because if you give up, then that 2% or that 1% becomes 0. And there's a big difference between 0 and not 0. If 1% of planes crashed, 1 out of every 100 planes that took off crashed and everybody died, nobody would fly, because they understand that although 1% is not very much, it happens sometimes. And when it happens, it's incredibly consequential. And that's what the Kraken, that's the situation they're in right now. That here's this thing that is low probability, but if it happens, it's very consequential. And that consequence is making the playoffs. So Lane Lambert now has to focus the team on playing in such a way that they make the playoffs. And so you take the cliche. It's one game at a time. You focus on the Chicago game, and you focus on all the things that you need to do to win the Chicago game. And then if you win that game, then all right, well, what's the next one? And you just do that, repeat that process as many times as you can. And hopefully you end up losing no more games in regulation and then you get to keep playing in the postseason. It's a tall order, but if your only path to victory, there's only one path to victory. There's only one viable path to what you are trying to achieve, then you must operate as if you will be successful on that path. Because if you operate as if you are not going to be successful, you say, well, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work. So I'm not going to try, or I'm not going to do the things that would make me successful. Then you've just sabotaged yourself. Play to your outs. If your out is winning all the games, if that's the only way that you can get into the playoffs, then operate as if that's what's going to happen. Because if that happens, then you're in. But if you look at it and you say, it's probably not going to happen, I'm not going to try, then probably becomes definitely. And that's no way to live. It's no way to compete, Fight, keep fighting. I don't want this team to give up. I want the team to keep fighting. I want them to keep pushing for a playoff spot. If they could get a really high draft pick by losing, it complicates things, but they're probably going to finish like picking 7th or 8th. So it's not a great position draft-wise. I think they just have to make the playoffs. And unfortunately, that does not look terribly likely, but it's not dead. So until this team is mathematically eliminated, I'm not going to talk about lottery odds. Just look forward to the future, onward and upward. And let's see if this team can maybe pull off a miracle, because miracles happen in sports all the time. And, it'd be really cool if we got one here. So that does it for today's show. Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Kraken. We will be back on Monday to talk about the Kraken's big victory over Chicago. I am manifesting, although my heart's not really in it, if I'm being completely honest. But make sure you subscribe and follow Locked On Kraken with all your heart, or at least with all your subscribe button, so you get all the latest episodes. And you can find us at Davy Jones LR on all social media platforms, or at DavyJonesLockerRoom.com, where we do print coverage of the Seattle Torrent and the Seattle Kraken. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get Locked On Kraken ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. For those of you on video, we send you over to the first ever 24/7 National Locked On Podcast Network YouTube channel. On audio, make sure this is one of your 2 daily listens. For Davy Jones Locker Room, I'm Zane Begg, and I will see you on Monday.